Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and a new tree I have recently bought, which is a ficus, which I have many of already, but it is one of my favorite genus, and I saw this one in a local plant shop and I simply had to buy it because I think it has a lot of potential. I'm giving you a quick view on the different sides of the tree. I really enjoy this tree. I think it is a tiger bark ficus. It's the one with this very prominent pattern on the bark, all over the trunk, basically all up to quite new branches actually. And my goal for today is probably wire it a bit and give it a light prune simply as a beginning, but not working too hard on it, I think, at the moment. But as you probably can spot right away, there is a lot of lower branches that probably for some of them we will have to get rid of them, and that is actually the first thing I would do. I do personally believe that this one here is the front or potential front of the tree. I'm giving you a view of the other sides. This would be the other side. I don't really like the scar here that much, so I would rather probably give me another look at it. If we see it from this side, I think it is a bit too crowded here. This one is quite prominent. I'm not sure I'm a fan of this. We have also branches here in the front. This one right away I can see has died back, so we can take this one out right away. And further than that, I will go around the tree and look at all those lower branches and see what we're actually gonna do with them. So as I said, I'm not sure this one is a good front. I would rather see this one, but first of all I think we need to clear it up. So this part right here definitely has to go. This would make a great cutting, I will show you in a second. So we take this one out. So this is definitely a great cutting and I will try to root that. Definitely like this and hope this would take as a cutting. So that already opens up the tree quite nicely. As you can already see, as it is a ficus, you have the white sap leaking from the point where we made the cut. I think we will also need to take out this branch right here, which is a thinner one, but simply in the way. So we take this one out and try to go a bit closer actually here to clean it up a bit more. And we also have two branches here coming from the side. I'm not too happy about, to be honest. It's a bit too low on the tree in my opinion, so I'm not really sure I want those two very long branches as well here. So I would also go in and take those two out, trying to be quite flush here because we already have here a little stump, of course, from where the growth points have been. And simply, just from pruning, you can see how much potential cuttings we actually have here. So we'll try to at least pot up 2 or 3 of these and see if they take. Probably put them together in one pot and see, maybe in the future we can form a clump style from all of these. So that already definitely has cleaned out this area here, and I would say let's move on around the tree and simply see where still we would need to go in. I can see here there's some dieback that we can take out. This one here I'm not so sure will actually take. I'm quite happy with how it fills up the space higher up. Here we have two parallel branches. We have one very thick one and one smaller one, and I'm not sure we're gonna keep both in the long term. However, they are so close together, they might actually in the future fuse together. So I don't think I will take any of those two at the moment, but I think here we will definitely do some wiring in a second. Let's also move to the back. We have here two very strong back branches. I think this one here actually could in the future become an interesting side branch, or maybe even this one here more so. However, we would have them crossing if we do that. However, if it grows further out, I would actually focus on this one here, the taller one. I think it would fill out this area here quite nicely, and we can simply spread it out a little bit. Also then here on this side, and create a nice looking tree this way. I'm just checking what else is there to take out. There's some dieback also, so we take this one out. So just clearing it up already a little bit, just making sure it doesn't get too cluttered in here. If something has died back, we simply go in and take it out. In general, what I really like about this tree, it has a lot of foliage. You can already see a lot of new growth coming in, so it definitely is already ready for growth season and generally quite healthy. You have 1 or 2 leaves that have some dieback on them, so this one will probably fall out in a couple of days or weeks. This is quite usual for ficus to see leaves becoming first having this like black spots on them and then they fall off. So nothing to worry about it. Normally it's not an infection or anything. This is just the pattern of this tree when it loses a leaf. Here we have some growth, so we can leave this on. So I would say actually we can move on to starting to wire this down a little bit. So let me get my wire ready also. And I would start right away here with those 2 branches. I won't wire it down from all the way here. I think it's already too thick already to wire from this point. But up here we can definitely bend it down a little bit, just spreading out the canopy of the tree a little bit, I would say. So let me see if this wire that I reuse normally is in the right size, and I would say so. Then I would simply put it here and then start trying to, of course, show you also what I'm doing, trying to start working my way up this branch quite tightly to the bark. So of course we want to actually get the grip that we need. Up here, always try to avoid the foliage as well as possible. It's not always that easy because of course a healthy tree like this has a lot of foliage, but I think we can simply get around here and get at least 1 or 2 more loops around the tree in here. And here we have a definite leader of the branches that we can focus on. And hook the wire one more time, and the first branch here is wired, and now of course we still have to link it to the other one. So once again we go around as tight as we can without actually trapping all of the foliage, as I said before. So that's really something I try to avoid. It's not always possible, and if you lose one leaf or another, of course that is not the end of this tree, but I just simply feel like when wiring it does make sense to be a bit more careful, especially when it comes to more young branches like this one here. It's definitely still more malleable than the other one, so I'm trying to not go too strong. I will actually, I think, cut off the wire at this point, because here it's still green, the branch, so there's no sense in wiring it. So I'm just gonna cut off the last piece of wire here. We have applied the wire, and of course now we need to bring the 2 branches in the form that we want them to. I want this one definitely to go down a bit, and this one I think even to go a bit in the front here. Maybe a bit, giving it a bit of a turn and a twist here. Putting it a bit lower than the back branch actually, so it both fills out quite nicely. And the back branch also giving it a bit of a twist. Having here still a lot of branches filling out quite nicely. This one, as I said, might actually fuse at a certain point here, or we will take it out. We will see that later on. But it already opens up this one here quite nicely. We will definitely go in pruning then still to give it more shape, but the overall first structure of it I quite like. Looking at it from different angles, it might be a bit too drastic, the bend, so we go a bit further down for the first time, at least the bend. We can of course then still improve this later on or at a later point. Good. Also looking from this side, definitely opens up the tree quite nicely already, giving it a nice view on the canopy. Right now still too heavy on this side, but that is something I want to counteract right away now. And as I said, I think we're going with this one. Do we have to wire it to another one? We could also wire this a bit further down here, giving it more of a back branch look. However, also looking from the front, of course, seeing if this one goes further down. Yeah, that actually makes the tree still look quite nice. And not too bare also up here, which was the thing I was worried about now, but looks good. So once again, I'm searching for a wire that has more or less the right size and the right length already. And I can see if I hold it here, it should have the perfect gauge for it. So once again, let me just check which one I will actually wire. Is it this one here or this one here? I think actually this one here, because it brings the other one quite nicely down with it actually. So I will focus on this one. So again, we go in, and this one here is now a bit in the way, so I'll try to hold it down with a finger while I'm wiring the upper branch. And I probably need to anchor already the other part of the wire a bit more firm. Maybe I even go once around. Let me actually redo that to really give it the anchor that we need, because we will bring both down. It actually makes sense to wire, I think, once around the tree actually. So it would go maybe in from the top. Let me think how to best do this. If I come from the bottom here, if I come once around here, that could actually work quite nicely. So actually, we come around the tree from here. Now I'm just needing the right size of the wire to come from this part. And then we bring this one around here and wire this branch down. Probably will drop this one here now, but let me see. No, actually it should be fine. Gives us still enough space and enough grip on this one to actually wire it down. And as we went once around the tree, it also should give us then enough grip to wire this branch here. Because before I could already feel it when I'm trying to apply the wire, that it was way too shaky. And that is something I have experienced in the past. If the wire is simply, the grip of the wire is not good enough, the band won't work that well, because it will not have the support it needs actually. So we bring this branch basically down here, and this one already is quite nicely in the way it has bent now. Already opening up this one more and actually creating a potential new side branch here in the future. So this should fill in this area in the future quite nicely. And as we of course before have taken out these lower branches, this was bare, but now we actually have a potential new side branch that comes a bit from the back here that fills it in quite nicely. And of course, branches like this here, we could probably even spread out the two top or main branches here a bit, let this one grow a bit more simply up, or actually take this one here as it is not the natural leader anyway. That would actually look good. So if this one comes a bit further down still, yes, we will do that. That will be quite difficult to wire as I'm looking at it right now, because we should make our way around it. Should not be too difficult. Once again, seeing if the wire has the right size and trying to find our way into the spots here, going around this branch first. It's a bit too high, so I'm still trying to adjust it. I'm not sure this will show too much on camera now, because it is definitely too crowded. But of course, when we bend it down, you will see how the wire was applied and where it's applied and what the intent behind it was. So in a second, you will see hopefully how this was intended. So one more here, already giving me quite a nice grip. And then we have this one here, which is a bit more difficult to wire because it is still quite thin. But one more. So also here. And oh, I can go all the way here actually. Give it also a bit of a twist and making it look a bit nicer. This one here already have bent a bit. I want to bend it a bit more, and this one here I want to bend further down. and probably give it a bit of a twist here, filling out this area here. So it looks a bit crazy right now, I'm not gonna lie. So if you look at it right now, it is of course nowhere in a shape that I would say we need to have, but I think we already set up a nice structure of this tree. I'm not so sure about this one here actually, but I will keep it on for the moment. Although, as I said, I don't want to go too crazy on the tree. But what we still have to do, and you can see that right away, is a prune. So we definitely need to prune back this tree quite considerably still to give it simply some shape. And it has so much new growth, it definitely will benefit this tree. If you simply go in, take out some of this growth. The growth is very dense, it's very healthy. I'm not too scared to take it back. Growth season is just around the corner, so it will definitely benefit the tree. So even here where we applied the wire, I would go a bit further back, maybe even cut some of the wire at a later point still. Here we already have a nice branching out, so I wouldn't go too far back. Except we really need it, but I'd rather focus here also on lower branches. Here we have another side branch that I would keep on the way it is. Also these two branches here that we have created, of course, we need to cut back a little bit. Also, of course, to encourage ramification in the future. This one up here, well, we have a nice branching here, so I don't want to go too far back, but the new growth we can take out here at least. And the leader is way too tall, so we can also take this out. Also here, also here. So it definitely is growing quite strongly, but of course we want it to simply branch out more still in the future. So that's why I'm just going in, taking out some of the tips, going really back to the woody part of the branches, hoping to encourage some more ramification. I think even here we can go to a woody part more. I'm trying to get a dome-like shape on the tree, which probably means we can even go a bit further still here, back. Maybe reducing this to 2 leaf pairs, and also in the back here, going a bit further still. Even this branch here that I'm not sure we're gonna keep or not, I'm gonna take back, because otherwise it really distracts from the overall view. Even here, we can take out the growth point. So let me also look at from the other side. Here we have a leaf that is dying back, I think, but I will leave it on at the moment. Here we're still a bit too... But actually here, I think what we can do is, let me check it, actually wire it simply a bit further down. Yes, that already improves the shape quite nicely. Here we will have, of course, a new leader, or the leader again, getting a bit more strong and more prominent, I would say, in this space to give us more views and fill out the spot quite nicely. Here it is still quite dense, but of course it will fill out quite nicely here. Then still trying to develop, of course, also a side branch in this area, probably bringing this one down in the future even a bit further, but I didn't want to go too strong on the bending also here. But in general, I think definitely we already have given a nice shape to this tree. We have cleaned up the lower part of the trunk quite considerably. Well, this one here could be a potential new burial root actually, so we'll leave this on. And I must say, I'm quite happy with the first result. Of course, this tree is far from finished. It is just the start of one of those commercially grown trees that come all sort of in the same shape and size, just to improve it a bit by spreading it out, creating a bit more of an interesting look on it. So if you have any questions about ficus or this one in general, of course, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will get to answer them as soon as I see them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you enjoyed this channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it. I would really appreciate that. And hopefully then I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.